as newspapers all over the empire proclaim the official end of the Second Weltkrieg, the return of the German armies from East Asia being organized, and people celebrating their newfound pride in the streets, Reichskanzler von Schleicher and his closest group of advisors meet in the drab offices of the Reichstag in Berlin to discuss the situation in the Americas. Von Schleicher had hoped for a negotiated end to hostilities, but Admiral Canaris, head of the powerful military intelligence branch, presents a series of reports to the contrary. The ideological extremists in the USAS have solidified their domestic position and are unlikely to accept any kind of agreement, and the Entente, under the leadership of Canada, still retains the delusion of a return to the European ancestral homeland. However, the Admiral, whose influence has grown significantly since the purges in the diplomatic corps and the subsequent reorganization of the Foreign Office under his Abteilung 3B, and the ever-shrewd Reichskanzler present the assembled functionaries with a different view. The elation about the victory will soon be forgotten, and with the Reichspakt alliance vastly extended, many new challenges will arise. It is imperative to prevent German soldiers fighting and dying on foreign soil, lest the domestic discontent becomes organized. So why not maintain a state of threat, a state of fear? Why not, instead of making fruitless diplomatic overtures, use the boogeyman of the Red USAS to justify tight control over society? Syndicalism has been defeated, yet a new terror has risen in the far states of the Americas, even more extreme, and the German nation must stand united against it for the sake of the world. Military might must be maintained. The secret police protects us all by rooting out subversive elements. Battles are fought not by German soldiers but by Allied proxy forces in the territories of Mexico and Cuba and in the jungles of South America. Germany stands as a powerful guarantor of peace, unity and prosperity under the Kaiser. Any dissent can easily be framed as subversive activity and quelled in its infancy. New reality, where there is a forever war between the Americas, or at least part of the Americas, and the rest of the world, with some other hotspots remaining. In general, the idea is to keep the German imperial troops out of this as much as possible. We do have some smaller enemy possessions to clean up. The Chinese are embroiled in their own civil war, so we can mostly leave them to it. We will move the Portuguese out of Macau, though, and we also have to secure the sort of Central Atlantic positions in order to effectively force project and create a ocean border between the continents, where the Americas at this point are already fighting, but these wars are going to be proxy wars. They are not going to be wars that are going to be fought by our own troops. Already, Cuban troops are moving into position in Mexico in order to start fighting the Americans there. And if other countries from the Reichspakt are going to move in, then we will not stop them. But German troops for now will remain at home, and we will see how this proxy conflict is going to turn out on the American continent, because the overall appetite of the population for any further continuation of an official war is, very low, and it is detrimental towards the overall stability of the empire. So, to that effect, there is a bit of trouble brewing with the Trans-Amur Republic, but it looks like the Austro-Hungarians already, the United States of Greater Austria already have that sort of under control and have positioned vast tank forces in the area in order to quell any kind of unrest. This is unexpected and shows the overall goodwill of the United States of Greater Austria to no longer challenge German hegemony in the area. So I think we can somewhat reduce the amount of troops that are currently stationed at the border. We will eventually wind down the number of overall troops as well. We've already reduced conscription to volunteers, and we will probably be going back down slowly towards a civilian economy. or at least a partial mobilization in the face of the, well, forever war that allows military forces in Germany to keep everything under control. But we have the invasion of Parma going on, and we are planning the invasion from Hong Kong into Macau. We don't know how many troops are positioned there, but we will see. Let's have a look. That is still going to take 18 days to plan, but we'll get that organized before. Yeah, a lot of the divisions are now returning to their home ports. There are still naval battles going on. We have lost, I think, a transport, but we've managed to chase away enemy submarines without too much trouble. And the invasion of Parma is surprisingly difficult. Let's see if we can get some air support. I think we don't really have much in the area. We've got strategic bombers, but we don't have the medium bombers that could lend some ground support in the region. But we're moving a lot of the air wings back into Europe. So once they become available, then. And I think we can start winding down some of these air wings, like these 9 fighter wings here. We've actually got some. No, these are these are strategic bombers and heavy fighters. Yeah, so we've got 9 fighter wings in from this air group stationed in Tunis, which are no longer needed, to be honest, because we are no longer fighting. We're no longer fighting these wars, and new long-range aircraft will eventually become available. So we can start disbanding these air wings, return the equipment, and start having. Start getting the people back into civilian jobs, and we'll also shift the production around. So currently, research is mostly focused on. Once jet engines become available, that'll be something. And we will also have to begin building nuclear reactors in Germany. So let's get some reactors in the German areas constructed. 4 of them for starters, and that obviously will take priority over everything else. In order to start gathering some material for future weapons development. It looks like the Americans are more aggressive at this point, and we're seeing radar groups chasing our submarines and trying to defend them from trying to defend their convoys from them. So I think it is imperative that we start getting some of the battle groups. Right now we've got the French, the old French group in the area, which can, I think, probably expand their range into. Let's see. We can start covering the. We don't really need to look much at the coastal areas anymore, but we're going to start covering the Atlantic Ridge and the Cape Verde Plain, definitely from their ports in Lisbon, and we'll see if they. If they can start clearing out some of these American radar groups here. We'll definitely be pushing further forwards towards the Azores once the naval infantry is becoming available. So once we have where are they? That's no longer Marine Kommando Pacific. That is just the overall Marine Kommando. There we go. Once these become available, and then we will be starting invasions there. The Marines, the Sturmpanzerdivision, have not been as successful as hoped. So there might be some developments there that we can do, maybe to improve the amphibious tanks that we're using, in order to make them more effective. And I'm not yet going to start. I'm not yet going to start decommissioning or demobilizing divisions, because I think there were some focuses that were leading towards that. So a fair amount of combat going on at the moment. We've got Portuguese submarines in the region, and yeah, this would be the Azores and other other actions. And we've got the we've got the fleet engaged against enemy submarines mostly. These are American submarines, so they are definitely making their way all the way to the European coast, and that is definitely something that should not be tolerated. So friendly destroyers are on the hunt, and friendly ship groups are underway. We are starting to have some free dockyards. That's because we are stopping the overall ship construction, and we'll be looking at improving some of the ship models. Looking at the naval technologies, I think the next focus is going to be to get the anti-submarine warfare up to speed, and we're also going to get a modern heavy hull for a modern battle fleet that is going to become part of that's going to be going underway, and it's going to become part of the overall modernization of the fleet. We will probably retire some of the older ships and wind down the overall naval engagement of troops. And despite the fact that we have a relatively large number of convoy escorts at this point, I think frigates, more improved frigates, might also be a program that will be focusing on more to secure the ocean ways from any kind of further troubles. Still 6 days away, and Woe to the Vanquished is complete. And with that, our rivals in Europe stand defeated and occupied. We were too soft on the French in 1919, basically letting them go free after taking border territories, and we couldn't even touch the Brits. This mistake will not be defeated, well, I'd rather say repeated. Through nation building, we will crush our enemies' dreams of revanchism and consolidate the European order. So that's completed. And that means we're going down to here. What can we do next? We can start the desyndicalization. That is probably the first thing. The Russians were a threat, but the syndicalism needs to be rooted out completely, and that then leads to new parties. Eventually, we want to get down to restoring the civil administration, which will remove the military occupation problems that we're having. So this is definitely the first tree that we're going to go down. Let's begin with desyndicalization. And with that, we have something available. Let's see. Foreign policy for France. What do we have? Good foreign policy is vital to the survival of a nation, no matter its size. While some nations prefer to focus on building alliances, other more aggressive powers opt to challenge their opponents head-on in open conflict. Whatever we choose, we must not be foolhardy, for only through tactful foreign policy can we build friendships and destroy our enemies. So we can send a troop surge in France. What is that going to do? This will assist the this will assist with rooting out syndicalism in France and England, by the looks of it. So that sounds like, let's have a quick look at France. Actually, currently they have the military occupation national spirit, And yeah, that is definitely something that needs to be dealt with. But I don't think I can see what the occupation problems are that they might be dealing with. No, because it's not technically occupied territory. So that looks like something we need to do. So we shall send additional troops for garrisoning to France and England. We do have the equipment that is at this point not a problem. So we will send additional troops to France and England. And we still have to sort out the fate of Taiwan. Taiwan would actually be good to be remaining under the German Empire for a Pacific position, but we can deal with the loyal German East Asian ports without too much trouble. So let's see what options there are. We could return it to Japan, but I don't trust Japan. So I think the Republic of Formosa as an independent Taiwan is the better option there. So let's get that done. That is done. And with that, we can. Yeah, I'm holding back on the dockyards. Before we start building new ships, however, we can start at least refreshing some of the designs. So I think the Elsass is going to be in need of an overhaul. So let's see what kind of variant we can create. And if we just upgrade everything, and that would be the Elsass class D. Wasn't much, I think. Most of it should already be relatively modern, although the secondaries are still not the greatest. So that's also another. I think a lot of things here are needed. It's a basic dual purpose, improved dual purpose. Well, we've got most of the tech, so in that case, I think. We should be all right to just refit to that class. We're building the C model, and we can probably. What was the upgrade here? I think it was really not. I'm not even sure what it was. I think it was the AA that's been slightly upgraded. Yeah, so that would be the Elsass class D. Save that, and then we can start the first refits, where we are going to look at the Schlachtgeschwader, and the SMS Elsass is going to be refitted to the D model, and that is going to be the Wilhelmshaven obviously taking it on. So let's get her underway. We've got the Graf Zeppelin carriers. Let's have a look at what we can refresh here. It's actually nothing to be done. So I think in that case we can also just start with refitting the existing ships. So we get these up to the A type, and these two as well. So that is going to be relatively quick in terms of refits. And then we've got the Mars class. I think Mars can take that was a light cruiser. Let's see if there's anything to be upgraded here. No, that's all up to date. So we can start refitting those as well. We've got the Mars, which is going to be Mars B. And that can, I'm not even sure which one we are using for that. We'll use Wilhelmshaven. And then we've got a couple of destroyers that need refits, so we can get these going all as well. And this is the 1941A type, which can be refitted to the 1942 type. So let's have a quick look on that and see if that's up to scratch. Destroyer 1942. Oh no, we can actually. Oh yeah, and of course we are losing the description. Let's get that all upgraded, and that's the 1942A. And then I'm just going to refit all the Mars class, the destroyers, and everything else And then eventually also the battleships, but I might get through the rest first and then do those later. Okay, that should keep the dockyards busy once the ships arrive in port, and that means, yeah, these submarines are irritating. So we'll see if we can. We probably have to build some more advanced. They seem to be getting away relatively easily. We might have to build some more advanced anti-submarine systems to deal with those. All right, the Middle Europa Commission has the summit coming up. And yes, the regulation system is what we want to do. And we are going to get... that should allow us to add additional countries to the Middle Europa system, which should overall bring them economically closer to the German Empire. And that is what we want. So let's get that going. And that, I think, should, once that's done... that should, yes, that allows this to start, and then we are going to start. We're going to start enacting economic pressure across. Has that unlocked any further decisions? By the looks of it, that would be a no. So. Okay, we'll see where this gets us, but for now, I think the assault on Palma has failed. So we are going to wait for additional troops to arrive. Right now, we've got most of them on the move. We've got most of them on the move. We'll wait for these to reconstitute. We might be able to change these into Marine Sturm Panzer divisions. Yeah, the only thing we're short are 3 flame tanks, but that I think can be rectified. So we might need a few additional of those. So these are going to be changed, and these are going to become Marine Sturm Panzer divisions. I'll rename them. Okay, and these will be planning another attempt at taking Palma. This time, once that is planned, we should have some Air Force available. I think most of the Air Force has arrived back in the European theater, and we will see if we can find some. Yeah, we've got 7 tactical bomber wings from the 2nd Luftflotte. So we will send those to, where can they operate from? Valencia is probably the best place, and that should. It's not enough space on the airbase. Okay, well, we'll send them to Zaragoza. That should still be within range. They'll begin training there, and they will be. Once the naval divisions are ready, they will be running air support. And that would not be a big problem. We managed to sink a Portuguese submarine, which is good news. And the situation in Mexico is that we are starting to see the first Mexican divisions. Let's have a look if Mexico is in any need of support. No, they have sufficient stockpiles. So the Americans are now fighting Mexico in the south and Canada in the north. We will see how well that'll end for them. But yeah, this is a proxy war. We are not getting directly involved anymore. Friendly forces from Cuba have joined, but German troops very much have returned to Germany, and will be dealing with securing the empire at home, because this is from our perspective, this is now a Cold War. This is no longer a hot war. General Halder, who's been running the naval divisions very reliably, can get the amphibious and the naval liaison traits. So I think these are both good things to have. That'll improve the shore bombardments quite a bit for naval invasions. Let's see who else has anything that that can be done. Günther von Kluge, obviously now being promoted to Field Marshal, has one trait available. So I think he is on that is could give him the thorough planner, but I think organization first is probably the better choice here. For now, Field Marshal von Kluge. We've got Field Marshal von Blomberg, but he does not really have anything available. And let's see what else we've got. Nothing here. And I think that was pretty much that was pretty much it on the army side. On the navy side, in the Atlantic theater, let's see what we've got here. Karl Dönitz obviously has gained the superior tactician. Has gained the superior tactician trait, and his submarine fleets, are they going to benefit from any of these traits? I don't think so. So this is for destroyers, heavy cruisers, light cruisers, and for mine laying. Don't really need any of that. Wilhelm Marschall, who is in charge of the vast fleet of Geleit Geleit escorts, might spotting speed, torpedo penetration. Destroyer leader might be a good one for him, and definitely submarine detection would be good as well. So once we have some more command power, we can give that to him. All right, so that's all sorted. And now we're just waiting for, what have we lost here? We've lost the Moroccan transport to some Spanish raiders. I think we are covering, but we're still only at 70%. We still need more destroyers. So that's actually something we can, we're not going to get that underway just yet. We'll wait for the research to be completed for the naval tech. But we'll wait for additional preparation. We've got four Marine Sturmpanzer divisions, and I think only one of them is still a little short on manpower. The rest are all in good shape. So let's observe what's going on in the Americas, really, where Mexico is making inroads into the Union of Socialist American States, but getting pushed back pretty much immediately. So we'll see how long that lasts. And the Americans are starting to make inroads into Canada. I think Vancouver has fallen under a relatively heavy American air bombardment, and it looks like troops are making their way, making further inroads into Canada. They have retaken Detroit, and they have taken Toronto as well. So it looks like the Canadian lines are fracturing, but now they have to contest with Mexico in the south. And yet, like I said, this is a war that we're actually interested in just keeping on going. So, new research, and I think we are going to focus on naval techs for now. We can just get the improved depth charges going. I think that's just going to be the first thing we'll do. I'm not going to spend 50 XP to get that accelerated, but let's get that underway, and then we'll wait for the naval invasions to be ready. With the finalization of the last branches of the new governmental system, the future of the Japanese throne must be discussed. While Hirohito does undoubtedly bear responsibility for persecuting the war against us, true justice would likely leave him dead or imprisoned for life, and us with an impossible public order problem on our hands. Our diplomats and even most generals insist that we must instead use a lighter hand. We cannot leave the emperor's theoretically unlimited powers in the hand as it is now, but there may be some options. So we can force him to abdicate, and we will, or we can leave him in the throne, and Japan will lose political power, but gain stability through that. Alternatively, it'll lose stability and potentially cause trouble otherwise. Why am I still having mountain troops? I thought I had actually moved these over to I had moved these over back to Europe. Yes, we are going to leave him in the throne because having an empire as the nominal head of state is generally a good idea. So, 8th Army, let's bring them over to Spain for now, or to Portugal, so they can make themselves useful over there. We don't have an awful lot of troops stationed in the Pacific. I think we will train some more Marines. That might actually be something we can start already doing. So we've got a lot of infantry divisions that have not really seen combat, and that can be probably relatively easily converted to Marine divisions. We'll get that done. We'll get that done reasonably soon. But for now, we are just waiting 2 more days for the invasion preparations to be completed. And the Reichspakt allies are sending a vast amount of shipping across the Pacific in order to fight against the Americans. But again, this is a proxy war where we would like that to just remain static and continue as is. We have lost a few more convoys against American submarines. And it seems like the French battle group is not particularly effective in dealing with the submarine threat, but not our problem at this point. The Marine Sturmpanzer divisions are ready under Halder, so let's get the tactical bomber wings into ground support, and we are going to launch the naval invasion. And we will then see... Nope. Can I not just launch that one? Okay, just launch it all. That wasn't this one. It was actually the other one. So we would not. We are launching against... oh, that's why I probably couldn't click on it, because it wasn't ready yet. We're launching against Macau. So let's see... In which case, yeah, we'll just leave the bombers ready there. But we're launching against Macau. There should not be massive resistance. Let's see what that's going to look like. We've got and more disappearances. While we are observing the fall of Macau, hopefully the Prussian secret police is still very much active in dealing with any kind of opposition at home, and for that, the Forever War is a good opportunity to declare anybody or any kind of incident like this as a simple totalist subversion, and declare these people as foreign spies from the Americas. And we have the formation of the Christian People's Party. The elections of the 1936 and faction conflict in the aftermath proved that Centrum needs thorough internal reform if it wishes to compete for leadership of the nation in later elections and avoid dying out, pushed at from both sides and no longer able to form a moderate March coalition. The political landscape, well, that was way back. The political landscape of the empire has changed greatly since 1936 as well, requiring a different approach to parliamentary elections. For decades, the debate of staying in the tower against leaving the tower has been a headache for Centrum leaders, some taking the position that Centrum should reform itself into an all-Christian conservative party and so position itself as the main right-wing alternative to the left, while others have concerned that abandoning Catholicism would make the party lose its one substantial uniting factor. The trade union wing and the reactionary right were especially interested in leaving the tower, but they were, I believe what they mean with leaving the tower is no longer being sort of away and isolated from things in the center, but they were opposed by the progressive wing, to whom the reform into a right-wing conservative party would be a death knell, yes. Nonetheless, the political reality of post-war Germany has made reforms to the CVP necessary. A conference of the party was organized in which a new program was drafted. The gates of Protestant members were opened in full. I remember that one as well. And a new agenda for the new Christian People's Party was adopted. The Christliche Volkspartei, CVP, that's what that probably stands for. The conference declared that the CVP is an interdenominational Christian democratic party dedicated towards the causes of parliamentary democracy and social market economy. A new leadership was subsequently elected, mostly a continuation of the former Zentrum Party, though with greater Protestant representation as well as greater influence by the Stegenwaldian trade union wing. So the former purely Bavarian party, and if you're not familiar with German political parties, in current day Germany there is actually a Christian Social Union, which is the Bavarian Catholic wing, and there's the Christian Democratic Union, which is the rest of it, and which is not so much Catholic, and together they usually run together. So prosperity for everybody. Vote for CVP, and that means we have a new party landscape. Although the Deutschnationale Einheitsfront, the German National Unity Front, is very much with 58% in power as it stands. And we've got 8% for the CVP, so not an awful lot to do here. All right, and now we are launching against Palma as well. The relatively strong Portuguese fortifications do not stand a chance against the newly formed or newly upgraded Marine Sturmdivision groups, which have a fair amount of firepower with them. Plus, they are getting support from the air now, which means that this last holdout is going to be dealt with relatively soon. There we go. And now there is a bit of a counterattack, but from the troops, but they have been pushed out from their ports, and that's going to be 9 Portuguese divisions that are going to be destroyed. And with that, the last resistance of the old Portuguese system has fallen, and Mallorca is under German command, as it should be. So that means these troops, we've still got some divisions that are moving in towards Barcelona, but these troops can now start planning further naval operations into the Pacific, into the North Atlantic. So we've got Madeira, which is currently under Swedish-Norwegian control. Interestingly enough, we still have the Azores, which would be a great outpost for power projection into the Atlantic, and we shall see. We shall see what we can do there. So let's launch a naval assault from Lisbon into the main port of the Azores and get that underway. At the same time, centimetric radars done. At the same time, these tactical bomber wings can get back to exercises, and we are starting to sink. We're starting to sink some more Spanish submarines that are still apparently operating in the area from. That's from the Balearic Islands apparently. There's still an island left here, so we might as well use that division and see if we can deal with that. Yep, there's still an island left. So let's get 3 divisions ready here to deal with that. In the situation of Macau, we have taken Macau, and these divisions are no longer needed here, so they can return. They can actually start making their way to. Port Moresby, honestly. So let's get them stationed there. And just in case we still need to deal with the Australasian Confederation. But other than that, it's back to research, where we are going to focus on... this is still way ahead of time. We are researching nuclear bombs, but it is... Still got some more radar tech to do, but I think we are going to focus on getting modern heavy ship hulls. That is going to take quite a while. That is going to take quite a while to get these constructed, but it is going to be the next iteration. How are the dockyards currently? Busy? Dockyards are Dockyards are busy with refits at this point, so we'll leave that as it is. And we are going to, we are starting to, with the elimination of these troops, or of these holdouts. We are starting to see an improvement in convoy escort efficiency as well, since we have less trouble with enemy shipping here, and we're still going to need a few more days until that is all done. What do we got? Opel. Is there anything left from Opel? I think we went down the motorized, so the all-wheel drive for trucks, that is done. And I think, and there are a few decisions available at this point. Let's see what we have. Or is it just the usual? Oh no, it's just the usual. It's just the usual recruitment decisions. Next political power will go down into. Will probably go down into early mobilization and then eventually civilian economy, because, well, it is a Cold War after all. And yes, we are sinking some enemy convoys quite successfully, and more troops appear to be arriving in the Americas. However, the Americans are making headway into Mexico. We'll see if these lines can stabilize, and they are breaking through Canadian territory quite successfully here as well. The Canadians are trying to retake Detroit, but it looks like they've been pushed back quite successfully here from Toronto. So the USAS definitely establishing itself as a major player here. Well, these are all proxy wars. The Empire is not going to get involved in that. We've got the Flak 88 done, which means, again, another focus on naval. We've got some catching up to do in terms of carriers as well. So, but let's get some modern cruisers probably for some modern escort ships. And we obviously do want to start producing the more advanced anti-aircraft guns. Where is it? There it is. All right, and that's going to be the Flak 88, and yeah, it's on Rheinmetall, so we're all good. There we go. And we have completed the desyndicalization. The game is, by the way, seriously struggling at this point with, or my laptop rather, struggling with this point with the game. As you can see, the lag is getting quite substantial. So desyndicalization is complete, and we are that allows us to orchestrate formation of new parties, and that improve compliance, and new political parties will be created. We need to do both, recruit collaborators and orchestrate the formation. So let's get through both of them. The target here once again being the ending of the ending of the military occupation. All right. So okay, both invasion needs to be planned. But meanwhile, in Germany, let's see what's going on here. This isn't going to fit on the screen. Lots of lore, so if you're not that interested, feel free to just skip ahead. But I'll go through it because I find it fascinating to see what's really going to happen. A Winter's Tale. Peace has returned to Europe for a while now, and uncertainty is looming over the victorious German Empire. Reconstruction has begun. People are trying to get on with their lives. It is January 1944. The victory parades and fairs in the large cities are long over. The flower arrangements that are lying in front of countless graves and war memorials have already begun to wilt, but the trauma of many, many months of war will plague a full generation until the end of their lives. That much is certain. Now, the first winter after the war is approaching, and eternal coldness and darkness begin to descend over the Kaiserreich again. while the Prussian military leadership is desperately trying to prop up their own little puppet regime in Paris as part of their vision for the future of Europe under German hegemony, a lone train is approaching the Franco-German border checkpoint near Étain, where it is stopped in its tracks by the German border guard. It turns out the train is loaded with former German POWs from a godforsaken camp in the Pyrenees. Hundreds of emaciated men with pale faces are forced to unboard the vehicle as grim-looking border officials begin to search their baggage for contraband, illegal literature, and more. Booklets with socialist writings given out by the French authorities to the German prisoners during their detainment end up in the muddy snow, and so does the occasional war diary. Everything of worth disappears in the large pockets of the guardsmen's coats. The lengthy procedure takes a short eternity, and while the weary passengers silently endure this harassment, cold wind blowing around their ears, the local Grenzmajor sits not too far away in the heated and comfortable border post and listens to the radio. Old speeches of Reichskanzler Schleicher are broadcast on repeat. The new European order will finalize our German nationhood. It gives us internal unity in thought and in feelings. It will unite the fragmented continent into a whole for the world's greater good. We need a united Europe pacified by the German sword to rule our outward and inward dealings. The Grenzmajor turns the radio off. Not long after, the train and its passengers continue their course into the German inland, back home to their small villages, where they will be defamed as deserters, cowards and losers. While German democracy slowly succumbs to the military-industrial complex and its henchmen in the government, old memories from 100 years ago rise in the minds of the people. The new order might give them external unity, a unity that is real and material. The regime, however, dictates them the unity of spirit, in reality, the most ideal. That, I think, was sobering and a very nice touch and addition to the reality of this whole thing after so many years of war on across the whole world. Time for yet another naval invasion. Let's get this underway and see that we deal with this last Spanish outpost here. And I think the general Geleitgruppen should be taking care of that without too much trouble. And I don't think there's even anybody here, but we will see if there's any remnants of the Spanish Empire still looming and controlling this last outpost in the Mediterranean. But I think the troops are landing without trouble. And yep, that's it. That should have been the last Spanish outpost in the area, and that should deal with any kind of threat of submarine action. Which means these divisions can join their brethren over in Port Moresby. So let's get them sent over, and then the rest of the troops is already landing in Ponta Delgata, and with that, these aren't ours. It looks like the Swedes. The Swedes are taking the port. They're just ahead of us in that. So yeah, Sweden has taken the port over, and we might ask to turn over, because that is a relatively strategic port. We will ask the Swedes to turn over the Azores to German control and ensure that this port is going to be under control of Germany in order to fortify the Atlantic. How is the war in the States looking like? It looks like vast amounts of reinforcements are arriving, which is going to probably stop the American advance here in its tracks. But in the meantime, Canada is rapidly falling. After the fall of Vancouver, it looks like American troops, probably out of Alaska, have pushed into the north of Canada. And while the Canadians have retaken Toronto, I think it's not going to do them too much good. So once the Americans are securing Canada, this will be the end of the Entente as well. So that would end the Yeah, that would end the Canadian-German War on that front as well. And we will see. We will see how the arrival of vast amounts of Reichspakt troops in Mexico is going to shape the future of the war. For the Empire, we are only interested in the outpost in the Azores. Sweden has accepted our request, and with that, the Azores are under German control, which means we are going to need some troops there as well. We have, I think, we have a fair amount of just general infantry divisions under Wilhelm List that can be used for this kind of purpose. And with that, we will just include the Azores and secure that. Although we might actually just might send some Marines there. That might not be a terrible idea. Let's get who's still in the area. We've got four Marine divisions. We will station these 4 divisions in the Azores, and if we can, and we will see that. There we go. And they can relieve the Swedish troops that are currently stationed there, and then we will build up. We are going to need first we are going to need infrastructure. Then we shall build up an air base in the Azores, and we shall build radar stations in the Azores, and we shall build up the naval base in the Azores as well. To its maximum potential, and this will become a new staging ground for future operations. All right, what is this Rheinmetall? What's still unselected? This one. What is this breakthrough? Okay, we'll take it. Don't really need to upgrade anything right now. And we will. I think at this point we've got 2 wars to observe. There's the Chinese Civil War is still going on with the Qing government clearing out, and this is probably going to take a long time, clearing out the east. The war in the American states, where a massive influx of Reichspakt troops is making their way through Mexico, and the American war in Canada. So. For the USAS, it means they do need to finish up the Canadian. Situation as quickly as they can, because they are going to need their troops in the south, and they are going to need to secure Mexico as quickly as they can, and make sure they are building sufficient defensive positions there, while troops from all over the world, the Reichspakt, are arriving in Mexico to fight the next proxy war. Again, not something the Empire itself will get itself busy with, but we are at this point more busy. We're at this point renewing the navy, improving the overall situation, and. Well, we will see how it plays out in the end. As much as we might want to, we cannot simply leave the syndicalist states and declare that our job is done. We must leave behind a stable political system which will not fall to radicalism again. Let us encourage the formation of new, enduring political parties which will be able to succeed us and keep the country peaceful and compliant. That has been completed. And with that, we are going to start recruiting. Do we need both of these? Yes. So we have to really do the full tree here. So let's begin by destroying any kind of resistance cells that are still remaining in the area. Meanwhile, in the States, Canada is rapidly collapsing, but the troops. The troops from all over the world from the Reichspakt have arrived in Mexico, and with more troops flooding in through Yucatan, I think the Americans will have a hard time stabilizing their southern front line here. But we will see. We will see if they will manage to if they will manage to bring friendly troops in time to hold that, or if the Reichspakt forces are going to break through the relatively undefended lines in the south here and make their way into America proper before a counterattack is going to be possible. We have a few decisions, but the ones that I am interested in is none of these. The one that I am interested in is to solidify control and to improve the standing of the German Unitary Party. And the option has become available to end the military occupation. So let's see where that goes. That allows us to decide the fate of Denmark. And I think the Danish have been under German occupation for the longest time. It is probably time to release our northern neighbors into their own country again. We will liberate Denmark as a monarchy, and as such, after all these years and the initial betrayal, Denmark is once again a productive member of the Reichspakt, and the German occupation in the nation can come to an end. The depth charge mortar is finished, and with that we can immediately start going to the improved depth charge mortar. We do have some naval experience available, but I think we're good in terms of just research slots to just go through this the regular way. And the situation in the Americas is relatively stable. A large amount of troops have arrived, but so far they haven't made any great inroads into, despite the fact that they are having a overwhelming numerical superiority over the USAS troops. Canada is rapidly falling in the north, although they still seem to be holding strong in Toronto. And we will see for how much longer how they can hold the northeast. That is probably the last hope of any kind of progress, because once the troops from the north might be coming available in the south, then we will see. But more Reichspakt troops are still arriving in Mexico for a permanent proxy war and continuation. We are having some trouble with American submarines in the area. So definitely double checking. No, all our escort groups are engaged, and they should be covering this area as well. So should not be a huge trouble. The lone Portuguese convoy there. Anyway, continuing on with regular things. We don't need to send additional troops to France and England, but I think the where was it? I think the solidification of control in the German Empire is going to be what we're going to be doing next. Yes, we are still losing war support, and unfortunately we're losing political power through that as well. So there's that. And we are working towards destroying the local resistance in England and France, and a peaceful settlement and desyndicalization, the completion of the desyndicalization project. While the fighting on the American continent continues, German East Asian divisions have landed in Australia, and they have used the staging grounds that we had originally declared in the area north of Brisbane as a first landing point, and have, landed troops. They have tried to land in Darwin as well, and they're sending more troops in. So again, we are letting the colonies handle this. And the fighting on the American continent has sort of come to a standstill, where the Union of Socialist States is actually pushing into the defenders. But Canada is still up and running, so still no need for us to get any further involved while we are sorting out the political situation over in Europe. Jet engines are finished. Now that could be a lead up towards a jet-powered aircraft, although we do not yet have the advanced airframes. So I think that is probably going to be the next thing we're going to research here in that regard. We are going to need better engines. We're going to need the large airframes. I think the first thing we're going to probably be building with jet engines would be a jet-powered long-range bomber. So we're looking at the improved airframe. That's got a base range of 2,000 kilometers. The advanced got 3, so that's definitely worth it. And the modern airframe would have 3,600. But that's a start. So let's get the large advanced airframe under wraps and see that we can do something there. We have some naval XP but I'm saving that up for ship redesigns once we get to it. Reichspakt troops are still moving across, but it looks like a few troops are now moving out of the Americas actually, and probably reinforcing the Australasian invasion from German East Asia. Destruction of resistance cells is completed. And since the syndicalist armies have been broken, a handful of holdouts remain. No more. We are dealing with those as we speak, which now allows us to continue down this tree towards restoration of the civilian administration in the occupied territories. Recruiting collaborators is a necessary step. Yeah, we need all of those. So let's deal further with any local resistance in the areas. And we do keep seeing activity by American submarines, despite the fact that we have convoy escorts in the area. So let's see if we can. We should have a few. I think they were here. Yeah, I'm moving a few patrol planes over to the Azores, where we are currently building. I believe, yes, we are building an airfield on the Azores. So that would be. From there on, we'll see if we can get these on anti-submarine patrol, and we can deal with the submarine threat. We can also bring some of the tactical bombers over that are no longer needed for any kind of further invasions here. So we've got 7 tactical bomber wings. We'll bring them over in storage for now, but they'll just be on standby because we are going to need additional airport capacity first. And with the American occupation of Montreal, the Canadian front has rapidly collapsed after all. Things are happening. The Entente is collapsing. The situation in the Commonwealth of Canada has been growing more dire by the moment, and left with nowhere to turn, the senior Canadian military leadership has indicated it is finally ready to surrender. With the Commonwealth of Canada's collapse falls the hope of the Entente alliance as a whole, and members now left to fend for themselves. And King Edward has fled the Dominion of Canada. Where has he gone? With the situation in the Dominion of Canada growing more dire by the moment, King Edward and the royal family have fled, along with high-ranking exiles, to the Australasian Confederation, where they hope to find safe harbor. Well, I have bad news for King Edward. The German East Asian troops have already landed in Australia and are rapidly advancing, by the looks of it, against only token resistance by local troops. With the utter collapse of the Canadian military command, and along with that of the Entente alliance, it does however appear that any chance of the home isles being retaken and the British monarchy restored is now gone forever. Yes, the world is now a very different place. The British monarchy will not be restored. In fact, the German Empire is rapidly working on the transformation of the European continent. And with that, the peace conference is over, and the situation of the remains of the Entente has been resolved. The Union of Socialist American States now controls pretty much all of the North American continent, except for New England, which at this point is a neutral state of market liberal Republicans. We will see how long that's going to be the case, given the ideological extremism in the USAS. The fighting continues in Mexico with significant Reichspakt forces committed, but no German soldiers on the ground. And the fighting continues in the Australasian Confederation, with German East Asia looking to expand its colonial holdings in the area as well. The legation cities are once again nominally independent, but very much tightly under German control at this point. And in Europe, the French military government is no longer in charge of Spain because the resistance on the ground was unnecessary. The Kingdom of Spain has been resurrected. However, Portugal remains under German occupation, given its strategic importance as a port towards the Atlantic. And that means one further step towards the normalization of the map. But if we are looking at the alliances, the Reichspakt is very much in control of the Eurasian continent, except for China and the Donau-Adria-Bund, which is friendly at this point. So I think no immediate political problems. We do have Greenland under our control as well now. So Greenland is part of the German Empire, which potentially gives us a launch pad for operations against the Americans in the north. And that means we are going to need to build up radar stations on the continent, and we do need to build up the airbase on the continent as well. Let's bring both air bases up to can't build one in the north, too icy, but we can improve the overall infrastructure, and we can probably improve the port facilities in Greenland. There is, I believe, a naval base. Yes, we can improve the naval base in Greenland, but I think that side, we might have a naval base on the other side of the coast that we'll be constructing. I think that's a better position for it. So let's get that up to speed as well. Once the infrastructure has been constructed, then we will see German troops in Greenland, keeping the North American states in check. And we do have the Siberian position on the other side as well. So with that, I think the future of the world is, and the post-Weltkrieg era is coming to a close. I think most of these are, most of these are just operatives and some other positions here, and we can return some lands to states that have legitimate claims on them. We'll probably do that in the future, but we will be still going through the last throes of the post-Weltkrieg order here in order to restore the civilian administration, and then make our way through the Schleicher Constitution in order to, proclaim victory and solidify the position. The war is not over. We are in a Cold War now with the Union of Socialist American States. There's a proxy war going on in Central America, where Reichspakt forces are facing off against, now that Canada has fallen, potentially an increasing number of American troops. And the war in the Atlantic is going on still as well, which means naval production is still ongoing. The forces are being refitted and modernized, and we will be ensuring that there's no USAS assault onto the European land in any way whatsoever. And that has benefits for the situation at home in order to keep the population on their toes.